These are the VRS Dark Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All three pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit IRacing.com.
If you're looking to get serious in sim racing, one of the first things to do is upgrade your wheelbase and pedals. The powerful force feedback in our direct drive wheelbase makes a huge difference, and our highly adjustable precision pedals will give you the consistency you need to improve. So you'll not only get the best value for your money, but you'll also benefit from our quick, local shipping from Australia and save even more. Our transparent pricing has GST included, so there's no nasty surprises at checkout or further customs delays and charges. And if you're near Melbourne, you can simply pick up your hardware from our showroom and get a free product walkthrough from one of our VRS coaches. We offer excellent customer service after the sale, and our hardware is made of the highest quality components. To get yours today, just go to the URL on the screen or click on the button below. But hurry, stock is always limited due to high demand. So if you want to get faster, sooner, VRS is your answer.
Control, feel the thunder in my soul. Through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane. Taking risks, full send, and in the end, beats it's taking over, cannot contain the desire to get to victory lane. I hear the echoes of the past, the roaring ghosts that never last. But here I stand, the finish line, one last race, one last time. Through it all, get past the pain, cutting laps, making gains, feeling tired, get to my aim. The desire to get to victory lane, speeding faster, no control. Feel the thunder in my soul. Through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane. Taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best. It's taking over, cannot contain the desire to get to victory lane.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Infinity Broadcasting, and welcome into the IRWC presents the VRS Virtual Racing School Porsche Cup Series here for round 9 of season 2, the final droppable round of the season, the final time that drivers could get their worst amount of points this season prior to the finale next week out at Belle Isle in Detroit. We come in tonight to California for some concrete jungle California love right here at Long Beach Street Circuit. Hamish Munro here with you, alongside me once again, Brenton O'Brien. Brenton, tough night on the road for these drivers. Long Beach is a very highly, I would say, contested track in terms of opinions from drivers. Some love it, some hate it. Some are a little bit in between, but there's one thing's for certain. It's going to be a massive challenge to these Porsche Cup drivers here tonight as they try and gain some crucial points prior to the final round next week at Belle Isle.
Good evening to all. Possible championship deciding night, because the walls don't get any thinner here. There's no runoff at all. So if you make a mistake, it might not just be race ending, it might be season ending, and we've got only a couple of races to go. And as you said, this is the last of the drop rounds. And it's coming down to the wire between Sam Muir and Simon Mazzomo. So anything could happen tonight, and probably will.
Yeah, it definitely can. Now, before we have a quick look at the track map for tonight's event, this is how they currently stand coming into this race here this evening. Sam Muir, 1,572 points, leads the way at the moment to Simon Mazzomo in P2 on 1,552 points. A bit further back, Colby Warren on 1,494 with Alan Dawson in P4 on 1,433. For Warren tonight, well, he's going to have to hope for a miracle to keep himself in the championship hunt with the top two. It's unrealistic that he's going to do that tonight, Breton, and it looks to be, at least how it's gone previously the last few weeks, it looks to be it's going to be a two-horse race into Belle Isle next week between Muir and Mazzomo. But as you said, one mistake tonight from either of them could take them out of the championship hunt leading into Detroit next week.
Well, Warren really is hoping and praying that both Muir and Mazzomo come across issues, and we know that Simon didn't race round 1, so he'll have to carry this race anyway. My great interest tonight is Ben Pedersen. Now, hopefully, Ben, you're listening out there in YouTube world, and you can hear these words: don't take tyres, because you can win this race if you don't take tyres. So, two-horse race for the championship, but Pedersen has shown enough pace over the last 3 races. He could have won all of them and put himself in contention, but every time he took tyres. So don't take tyres, Ben.
Yeah, don't take tyres this time. He has been mentioning the fact that he tries to tick them off, but then he doesn't. So it ends up costing him in the end. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake tonight in the 40-minute feature coming our way later on. Let's have a quick look, though, at this circuit here for Long Beach Street Circuit down in California. It's my personal favourite street circuit on the iRacing calendar. I think it's a fantastic track. It has got a beautiful rhythm to it as well. And when you can put all the pieces of the puzzle together, it comes out as a beautiful piece of art. You feel like you're on top of the world when you get a lap done here correctly. But as we trickle on our way down, it's one of our shortest races of the calendar, or shortest tracks on the calendar this season. It's also one of the toughest as well, surrounded by concrete barriers. There's pretty much no elevation changes to speak of. This layout's been used ever since the year 2000. Only 3.1 Ks, 11 turns around this place. It all starts on the main straight for Shoreline Drive. And the run up through Bridgestone gets you started through what is arguably the toughest first sector of the whole calendar this season. The run through turn 1 at Toyota, and then up to Aquarium Way at 2 and 3, and up through 4 and 5 as well. Very easily, Brenton, you know all about this from the Vets round that happened earlier this season. 2 and 3 could turn into a car park on lap 1.
Well, yeah, so yeah, absolutely. So the track can be completely blocked, and at pretty much no notice. But yeah, in the turn 1 in particular, there's always someone who thinks that an opportunity is there to make multiple passes, and that gap closes awfully quickly, and you've got nowhere to go. The corner does close up on you quite a lot as you're on exit, so you know, you can't win the race in the first corner, but you can certainly lose it. And there's going to be some out there who, you know, we don't have the biggest field in the world, but you don't need the biggest field in the world to get good racing, and hopefully we can get through turn 1, 2, 3 cleanly.
Now, hopefully we can. If we do make it through there cleanly, we then run up through 4 and 5, where the exit of turn 5 is probably the next, I don't know if we can call it a danger zone. The whole track's a danger zone, but the exit of 5 is definitely one to keep an eye on, because you hop the curb incorrectly on the inside, you can end up spinning around, and with these mid-engine Porsches with no traction control, no ABS, that's going to be a difficulty for these drivers. But if you maximise your exit, you then run up towards turn 6 and up through 7 for Pine Avenue, in towards the deadly turn 8, where we've often seen drivers getting a bit overzealous, trying to go up the inside and running into the tyre barrier on the left-hand side of the track. And very easily another second car park scenario can happen there. We then run up through Seaside Way up towards what is, in modern day, the Formula Drift section of this circuit for Firestone Turn at turn 9. The run around Indy left at 10, where we then get to the treacherous hairpin at turn 11, which is our final car park opportunity of the whole lap, where we can often see drivers getting caught up just by braking a little bit too late, not quite sure how the traffic's going ahead of them. It then gets a bit bumper car-ish, and then we can often see cars spun round and blocking the circuit. So to survive this place is a real difficulty. It was called the Monaco of the US when it was first built and used for Formula 1 many, many moons ago. It's a very, very tough track, still used in the modern day for IndyCar and for IMSA racing as well. But I'm excited for what tonight could bring to us, Brenton. I think it's a track that has got a lot of little nuances about it. It's one that can really test you, not just for the concrete barriers, but for the whole flow of the circuit as well. But I think it's one that you've got to bring some respect to it when you race here, because it can very easily bite you hard if you don't approach it correctly.
Absolutely. I still think turn 11 is the dumbest corner in iRacing, but that's not iRacing's fault. It's almost a 3-point turn in some corners, and we can see Mizomo in there right now. So, look, you're right. You've got to respect the track. You have to respect it, because if you don't respect it and you get a bit reckless, well, then, like I was saying before, your day's over. So, look, like, it's championship implications at play. Absolutely, we know that, but respect what you've got, and not just the track, but the competitors around you, because there's some guys who are genuinely quick here, and there's going to be some large time gaps, I believe, but the quick guys will always be quick here, and you know, whether they can, you know, if you're Sam Muir, do you need to be aggressive, or if you're Simon Zomo, you need to be aggressive? No, he who runs away lives to fight another day. But for guys, you know, like down in P3, Colby Warren, well, he needs to be aggressive. Ben Pedersen doesn't need to be aggressive, but he's naturally fast. It's going to be an interesting race for sure.
It will indeed, and you know, could the likes of Ben Pedersen or even Stefan Lawrence, who we saw at good pace last week at Interlagos, could they be some X factors tonight? Could they be a spanner in the works that maybe, just maybe, gets in the way of one of those championship contenders? Well, we spoke about the concrete barriers being a factor tonight, Brenton, but we've also got to think about the other competitors on the road as well. Very easily we could get into a scenario where Muir or Mizomo gets taken out by another car, either by taking a move on the inside and making contact with them, or by them running around one of these blind corners, just like what Warren's done as Fitzpatrick moves over on him. You come around the corner and there's a car parked across the road, you've got nowhere to go, and you collide straight into the side of them.
Well, the other thing is they could collide into each other. Don't have to rely on other cars. Muir and Mizomo could make contact, because they're generally always going to be really close to each other on track. And another one who has been thereabouts of late is Shannon Fever. You know, we saw in a reverse grid race, was able to hang on to the lead for a long while and did a fantastic job. And then also at Interlagos, the same thing. Did a great job whilst leading. has improved as the season has gone on. Doesn't seem to make as many mistakes now, and just seems to be getting genuinely quicker. And the lap times have been consistent. So, if anyone was to say to me at the start of the year who would be your most improved over the season, right now I think the Car 81 Shannon Fever would be at the top of my list.
I'd have to agree with you. I think Fever has really gone above and beyond to improve their race acumen and improve their pace as well. They'll be a driver to watch in the future, that is guaranteed. Couple late entries into the server tonight. Daniel Yeaman and Daniel Harris joined the field as well. Harris will be one to watch tonight. Brenton, we know the kind of pace that he has. Of course, a very accomplished driver, has raced previously this season, and of course was one of the championship contenders from season 1. So we'll see what he can do on the road tonight if he does end up racing in this event. He could be another X Factor out there. No hand in the championship, but has got some pace. Could be one to change things up. As drivers is getting lap times in, Craig Schultz has just jumped up into the top 10. Alex Schuler has just jumped Kurt Chapman as well. A couple more talking points for you in terms of the world of the IRWC to keep everyone updated as well. Season 2 drivers who have done 3 or more races this season have now been given their early access to Season 3 sign-ups for the Porsche Cup Series. This coming Sunday, it will open to the public and waitlist drivers as well. So keep an ear out for that if you're waiting to get entry into the series. The public sign-ups will go live on Sunday. Public sign-ups for our IRWC GTE Cup went live this previous Sunday as well. So we're hoping to see some good sign-ups for that series. We'll be racing on Wednesday nights next season in the GTE cars, which should be a world of fun. We've also determined that Friday nights, the Rodnock Cup will be returning. It will be returning, though, as the Rodnock Cup Next Generation as we go next-gen NASCAR racing next season for Season 2 of that series. Ben Pedersen, though, sits on the pole position at the moment, 120.64. The only driver even close to that time at the moment, Brenton, Sam Muir, 120.77. They're the only two to get below the 21s. Everyone else has got some work to do if they hope to challenge these two boys at the front of the field.
Absolutely, but I'm going to have to ask you a question. Why is it called the Rodnock Cup? What's that?
A Rodnock Cup because you can knock rods in a NASCAR and blow engines.
Rodnock Club.
Rodnock Cup, yes.
Oh, I thought you said Rodnott Cup.
No.
What is that?
It's not. I was about to say it's not a cup. It's a rod, but no, it's we knock rods on the Friday night. So
now I'm with you.
Yeah, that's why it's called that. But it's a bit of fun. I mean, a mutual driver, that you race and that I get to call, Chris Blanchard, in fact, won on Friday at Talladega. So, big ups to Blanchy for that one. He lucked his way there, arguably, because the race leader got taken out the lap before. But, no, there's...
Well, I know what that's like. Did that at Vets at Road America not so long ago. But it's not lucky if you put yourself in a position where something could happen in front of you, you make the most of it. So, but back to where we're at, and it's a significant gap between second and third at the moment. It's actually the biggest gap in the field is between second and third. Pedersen at a 120.636 has got Muir covered with a 767, but then it's daylight. It's a half a second to Stefan Lawrence at 21.1, and with Shannon Fever a further 0.2 down. So I think I said at the start, I think there's going to be some big time differences here, because this is a track you either get the flow and you can absolutely get it right, but if you get it wrong or you haven't done the testing, you haven't put the time and effort into it, this is a track that will find you out, and that seems to be the case tonight. There's a big gap between first and 21st at the moment. So seeing that Harris and Yeaman have not put a time in yet, whether that could be penalty related, I'm not sure, or they just don't want to get involved with any first lap scuffles, which I understand. But the gap between first and 21st, 4.09 seconds, which will come down between themselves and Aaron Smith, but even before that, it's 3 seconds between first and 20th.
Yeah, there's a little bit of gap between some of the drivers out there. Can confirm there's no penalties that have currently been applied. As we ride on board here with Rodney Golan as he ends out his hopefully first time attempt. He's been yet to get a time on the board here in qualifying, so hopefully this one counts for him. Probably one of the toughest circuits to have a time count, because one little scrape of the wall means you've got to start all over again. So as he crosses the line, is the time going to count for Rodney? It will. It's a 1:22.8, so it doesn't line up the timesheets anything that impressive, but it's a time on the board, and that's what can matter. You know, sometimes you just got to try and get a time on the board. That builds the confidence. It pushes you to try and go a bit faster. At least you've got something to measure yourself against. So he'll try and run his way further up into the top 20 here. Pedersen, though, on a purple sector in Sector 1. This guy looks to go even faster here, Brenton. This could be under a 25 if he can put the rest of the lap together.
Yeah, so we'll stay on board with him here. And like you said, he has put a very, very strong lap together, turn 9 into turn 10, and then turn 10 here, and the very, very, very tight first gear corner at turn 11. Early on the power, a little bit of oversteer there on exit, and away he goes, and he just goes up through the gears. He's got to hold a tight line inside to the right as he crosses the line, and you're right, it's an improvement, is it? No, just 4 100ths off.
Wow.
Very, very close. So 120.675 in comparison with his 126.36 earlier, but he now has the fastest 2 lap times of the session.
Yeah, I think he's just proven that he could have gone P1 or P2 with both times. Really.
Yeah, he certainly. He certainly made himself at home with these cars, hasn't he? But yeah, if you're Sam Muir at the moment, you're in P2. Your main competition's P6. Now, I've kind of blown the kiss of death at Mazomo before in quali sessions, and then with a matter of seconds to go, we find him P2, P3, P4. At the moment, P6, 3/4 of a second off the pole. Be interested to see, as we've still got Muir on a lap, and we've still got Mazomo, who's just about to finish his lap, his out lap, and then Simon will be on his quick one shortly. If not, he'll be starting it now. So it'd be interesting to see. We'll stay with Muir here to see if there's any improvement, and I think that would be very close. His previous best is a 7.67 as he accelerates out, and we'll see what kind of lap time he posts right here. No improvement.
No.
So the car we need to look at now, and you've got it right spot on here, Mr. Director, is Simon Mazomo, because we're down the last 2.5 minutes. If he doesn't get this right, he's going to get another lap in, but it won't be as competitive on older tyres, so he really needs to get this now. This is from P6, and he's got quite a bit of company in front of him that if he doesn't nail this lap, he's going to have to work pretty hard to get past.
He will indeed, as he runs up towards and through turn 8, keeps it off the wall, crucially, on board the 9.5 Sim Sports car. In fact, he's actually going to go for a push lap on the next one. He's going to go for a push on the next lap, so we may have to sit on board with him here for this one, because maybe he feels that he may have made a small mistake early in the attempt and thought, I'll back out. Yeah, I
think he made a mistake. So at the moment, we've got Fever and Warren both in the pits, P4, P5. They know that their quali is done. They won't be improving. Stefan Lawrence has just come out, and he will not get another lap in, because the time, once it reaches 0, will be it. And so Mazomo's only just going to make this as it goes across the start-finish line. Angus Lawford goes up to P4. That's a great effort. Angus has done a lot of miles. He does a few miles in the supercar as well, but what that does is puts Mazomo down another position to P7. So the pressure is on the driver in P2 in the championship at the moment. He needs to nail this. Even if he doesn't get pole, even if he doesn't get second, that's okay, but he has to work his way up.
Yeah, he needs to probably at least gain over Fever and Warren here on this quali lap. Bit of a wiggle there in the braking zone for turn 6. I was quite surprised, actually, Brenton. He didn't pull the qualifying strategy of run it deep at turn 11 and get the run down the straight. You know, it might only, cost you a couple of tenths, but that could be a crucial couple of tenths that you could use, across the lap. He is up green in the first 2 sectors, orange in the third. Is this lap going to be enough? Could it get him at least maybe P5?
He's looking at the watch to see if he can even finish this lap, because it's going to be 0 shortly. So he's actually on the countdown. We're down to 18, 17, 16. He's going to make it. I think he's going to make it. It will only be just, but he will get there. We're down to the last less than 10 seconds. 5, 4.
He got it.
Crosses the
P4.
line with 4 seconds to go. P4 with 4 to go. It's a big gap, though. It is a big gap. But that's our qualifying done. I'll let you go through the grid.
Yep, he's made it to P4 in the end and made it by the barest of margins with not much time left on the clock as he crossed the line. That pretty much cut everyone else off of being able to pass him, including Lawford, who he jumped off of that lap. This will be the starting grid, though, for tonight's race. We're not at round 7, we're at round 8. Could have remembered to change that if I had a memory, but apparently I don't. Ben Pedersen, though, will start pole position ahead of Sam Muir on the front row of the grid. Stefan Lawrence, Simon Mazzomo then start on the second. Crucially, Muir is starting directly ahead of his championship rival, Simon Mazzomo, in P2 and P4, respectively, on the road tonight. Lawford and Fever then will line up on the third row, with Colby Warren and Jake Burton in behind them, with Dean Reddit and Alan Dawson making up our top 10. Ellie Gardner will then start alongside Blake Fitzpatrick on the 11th and 12th positions here at the grid, with Craig Schultz and Alex Schuler on the 7th row and behind them. Kurt Chapman will make up the top 15, starting alongside John Akers, with Rodney Golan, Harry Dodd, Stacey Boyd and Gary Watson making up the top 20. Johnny Rowe and Aaron Smith will then line up on the 11th row of the grid. Daniel Harris and Daniel Yeaman not setting lap times in qualifying. We'll see if they end up racing here this evening or not. Our race controllers here tonight once again. Kyle Gretsch, Leith McClement, Jordan Ferguson and Lucas Burt on board the safety car, as well as our admin Jack Anderson's in the session too, just to check in on things and make sure nothing untoward happens across the piece.
Well, as the cars grid up now, yeah, it's going to be tight, isn't it? It's just always going to be tight into turn one. And lucky, well, not lucky, Mazzomo did a good steady last lap, certainly not spectacular. Certainly put himself in contention to get himself through the earlier parts of the first lap, safer than what he would have been if he was in P7. So yeah, there's a bit of tension there for these two guys, because both of them want to win the championship. Both of them deserve to win the championship. Ben, again, if you're listening, turn your tyres off right now. Just do it right now.
He shouldn't need them in race 1, because he shouldn't need to pit, but when he grids up for race 2, tick the tyres off when you're on the start grid.
Yep,
and then double check them when you come down the main straight to start lap 2 as well, because you want to make sure you haven't got tyres ticked, especially if you can make your way through the field from P10 to P1. That's assuming he wins the race in race 1, of course. Inverted top 10 for race 2 coming up after this 20-minute heat. Grid timer is slowly trickling on down. We're just waiting on Colby Warren to join the grid. Harris and Yeaman are starting this race, and they're starting at the back of the field, so they probably anticipate a bit of carnage here off this race start. I don't blame them. It could be a good strategy to make up some early positions. We know the sort of pace that both cars have. But as the lights look to go up for Long Beach here this evening, Pedersen and Muir, front row, Lawrence Mazzomo in behind them. How much carnage are we going to get on lap 1 here at Long Beach? Will it be a car park scenario at any point of the circuit? Well, we're about to find out. So much wheel spin, and it's cost Pedersen massively off the race start. Oh my God, that has cost him at least 5 positions as Lawrence now takes the race lead. Mazzomo on the inside of Muir at 1. Not willing to duck it too far up the inside. Warren on the outside of him now as they run in towards the fountain. And they settle up and they get into their groove as they run through for the first time. But we've got to be careful of the biffing and barging in the mid-pack, because that could cause a bit of a pile-up as there's cars round down there, including Gary Watson, Daniel Yeaman, Dan Harris and Craig Schultz all involved in that one.
Yeah, bit of a mess at the back there, but all the action's at the front, because Mazzomo has now already worked himself up to P3, just taking Colby Warren. Now, Ben Pedersen is going to be driving like a bull to a red rag here, because he just sat there on the line, just lighting it up, getting the temperatures up in the tyres, but not going anywhere. He's going to want to charge through here. He was clearly the pick of the bunch in qualifying. We know he's got the pace. We know there's some issues behind him. But right now, if you're Colby Warren, you're going to be the first car on the menu. And, oh, he's just tagged the inside there. But now, Pedersen is chasing Mazzomo.
There he is. And Mazzomo trying to chase Muir as well. So had a couple of incidents across that first lap. We'll try and get some replays happening for you, just so we can keep an eye on how things happen, but we might have to wait a minute here because this is getting all hectic up towards one. Warren up the inside of Lawford. That's really deep and straight into the tyre barrier. You knew it was going to happen, didn't you? Just way too high.
You can see that a long way.
Yeah.
So a couple of things have happened here. Number one, Pedersen has had that report against him by Colby Warren, and then Colby has tried to make up. He's never going to get it from there. Way too deep, carrying way too much speed. As we said, the corner closes in at turn 1. That was so predictable that was going to happen to Colby, and he's just going to keep dropping back and back and back. So that's a hard hit. But I would be focused on Pedersen. He's already closed down to Mazomo, and let's see if he makes short work of this, or whether he has to grind away, or whether Mazomo lets him through. Pedersen's driving unhappy at the moment, shall we say. You know, Mazomo doesn't need this. This is the last thing that he wants, is a faster driver behind him putting pressure on. Mazomo's carrying a little bit of damage to the rear of the car already. So let's just see a really good run out by Pedersen here at turn 11.
Oh, we've got a car park happening though down 11. That there was Warren, who got a bit of contact. I think it was from Lawford down there. So let's just try and quickly catch up on everything that's happened all around this race start. So it all started with Craig Schultz into the fountain section. So as he came on the inside of Fever, those guys had a little bit of a coming together.
Yeah.
That then saw him go round. And then as the other cars came through, there goes Yeaman with extra contact from Fever there. That created the car park as Harris and Watson had to take evasive action, including Craig Schultz as well. A bit of movement from those guys in the background. Then there was also this moment here for Johnny Rowe of Velocity Racing Team further back in the field. I think possibly a self-made moment here through turn 6.
All on his own.
Yeah, all on his own. There he goes.
Yeah.
But then there was also this bit here with Kurt Chapman as well. Up the inside of the right, Sim Sports entry, contacts made into the wall.
And also then you go further on with Pedersen and Colby Warren at turn 11. You'll see there's a bit of side swipe action as it comes up now. Pedersen tries to just carry the momentum here. Is he there? Look, a bit of netcode. I reckon there's a bit of netcode there. So don't be surprised if it's play on there. And then we follow this even further, and we see Colby making what I would think is an unrealistic move from that deep. He's not going to be, 2 car lengths behind?
Yeah.
2 car lengths behind. Let's give him some change. He's not making that. And he didn't make that.
No.
So that's cost him dearly. But he'd still play on, I guess, P5. But he really, really choked it on that one.
He did indeed. So Stefan Lawrence leads the way at the moment to Sam Muir, Simon Mazomo and Ben Pedersen at the moment. They've got a world of gap back to Colby Warren, whose car is looking a bit worse for wear at this stage.
And we just gave the kiss of death to... we did. We just gave the kiss of death though to Shannon Fever. A drive-through penalty with contact with car 85. So that would be that incident with Dan Yeaman on lap 1. And Drop Bear Motorsports actually being a team in very good form. And we know Dan, by choice, started at the rear here. An unfortunate start, but unfortunate for Shannon Fever as well, because someone who's been in the championship the whole way through, and Pedersen's now having a red-hot look at Mazomo. Almost pulls it up, almost has to come to a complete stop into turn 11 there to make sure that there was no contact.
He did indeed, and I do have to confirm it's Riot Sim Racing. Thank you for correcting me in the chat. Riot Sim Racing, not Riot Sim Sports. Pedersen's given up a bit of time after trying to go for that move on Mazomo down at turn 11, so maybe just hanging back, resetting here. Alex Schuler into pit lane, interestingly enough. I'm sure why he would need to pit unless he's copped a penalty for some reason. I'm not seeing anything that would say that.
No, might have had some damage from a wall strike or something earlier, but certainly nothing on the roads. In the meantime, we've got to give credit where credit's due. We've still got 13 and a half minutes left. Stefan Lawrence is our race leader. We haven't mentioned it yet. Has led from the start after getting a really good start off the line. Quite aggressive into turn 1. But leads Muir, Mazomo and Pedersen, all of whom I believe are quicker. But Stefan Lawrence is doing a fantastic job out in the lead at the moment.
And
all by himself.
Yeah, a moment there for Harris. Knew he wasn't going to make the corner, so went up the escape road, has now pulled it up just to maybe sort his issue out, unless that might be a technical issue for him there. That almost looked like he may have had a screen freeze or something and just is trying to get that fixed as he sits on the side of the road. I'm unsure. But Lawrence is doing a great job at the front of the field. Leads the way. He's got Muir on his heels, but this is such a tough place to get overtakes done as Blake Fitzpatrick's gone round at turn 11. So just waiting for an opportunity to back it up there.
Oh,
He's doing the right thing.
Happening.
Yeah, doing the right thing though, waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, blind corner, can't see what's around, so you're holding solely relying on the marshals there to give you the all clear. But if you're Stefan Lawrence at the moment, so this is how you would want it. This is the order that you would want behind you. You would want Muir out of the 3 cars behind. This is what you would want, and Pedersen's making a deep move here, and I reckon that job's going to get done, and it has. Right, another car off there to the side.
That was Aaron Smith.
I reckon Aaron Smith has requested a tow. Look, that's a safety car coming. There's a safety car coming, and absolutely there is. So with 12 minutes to go, I'm calling it now, there'll be a safety car. And that will only be good for Colby Warren, who's 7.5 seconds behind off the top 4, but also for Stefan Lawrence, who's going to be able to see out some time. It might not be a safety car, but I would think it should be.
It might be just because. No, we could get a safety car period here. We could get it, but
no reason not to have a safety car, sprint race or not.
Yeah,
that's a safety car opportunity. Absolutely should be, but I'm not the race director. But you know, it's not going to ruin the race by having a safety car. But if you're Stefan Lawrence, the perfect car to have you behind as those 3 is Sam Muir, because he's not going to want to stick his nose in and make an unrealistic move. They've given him permission to tow, so no safety car. So he's the car that you would want behind, because he's not going to do a stupid move. When Pedersen gets there, and I'm not saying Pedersen's going to make a stupid move, but he will certainly be more aggressive.
He will indeed, because he doesn't have a hand in the championship, but he has a hand in possibility of taking a race win in this scenario. And if you're Muir, are you that worried if you let Pedersen past you? You're still gaining a position's worth of points over Mazzomo.
No. Exactly, and a slower car. I'm not sure who that is, going very slow down there on the right-hand side.
Gary Watson has just pulled it up. If he requests a tow...
Well, again...
I know that Smith didn't cause a safety car, but that is probably actually a much more dangerous position as where...
I think that this car's going to be able to move, though. So once the field's gone past,
I think he's just
waiting. There's going to be a chance that this car progresses. So doing the right thing there for Gary Watson, getting it right out of the way. But I think it's going to be able to continue moving.
Quite possibly. Now, Gary does have to use text chat to request a tow. He can't. He doesn't have the ability to use voice chat. So if he's able to get a text message out there, I've just noticed actually that they've updated the SFL overlays. We can actually see who has a meatball now. That's pretty cool, actually. I didn't even notice that before. So we can actually see that Smith's actually got a meatball on that car. So once he gets that fixed, he'll be able to rejoin the circuit.
Well, I've got to Google what SFL even stands for.
Super Formula Light. That's what this overlay is based upon. Yes.
Okay.
It's a pre-built overlay style for SDK. And they've actually updated it to include now a meatball flag on the tower. I think it's actually quite cool when it happens.
Our good friends Alex Simpson and all those at APEC Racings who had this software or whatever it is all built up years and years ago. They did a cracking job on it, and it's used. Multiple broadcasts use the SDK now.
Yeah, it's it's used by a multitude. There's two major overlay companies out there in SDK and ATVO. I know that our good friends at SimSpeed use ATVO. I personally use SDK. I just find SDK is a bit easier for me to use, but I think both have definitely got their merits, and both can really produce some very nice graphics for us on screen. So I think that's fantastic that we have this offered to us. It opens the opportunity for us to broadcast, obviously. It gives us the opportunity to see this amazing racing in terms of Lawrence trying to defend against Muir and Pedersen. I'd argue, though, he probably has the easier job than Muir and Pedersen, because this track's a lot harder to get past a car than it is to defend a car behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the interesting thing here is that Mazomo has dropped right off this. Now, he's not dropping off because of the pace of Muir and Pedersen, who both qualified in front of him. He's dropping off despite Lawrence leading. So last lap, Lawrence was a 121.5 in comparison with the 121.7. But that lap by Mazomo, the 121.7, was actually quite a bit quicker than his lap before. So whether he's made a mistake, whether he's going, I'm not in a position where I need to fight now, just bring it home, or he also might be sitting back going, Pedersen is at some stage going to stick his nose in and try and work it up another position. He doesn't need to though, but at the moment Pedersen's right in a fantastic shot for Sam Muir because he's in between both the championship leaders.
Yeah, and it's helping Sam out quite a bit, having Pedersen separate him and Mazomo. It'll mean a couple of extra points that Muir would gain on Mazomo at the moment, but Pedersen's not worried about that. He's worried about gaining himself some points and getting himself a positive finishing position in this race. With 7 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock, it is very, very quickly going to come to an end. It's not many laps that can be done in that amount of time here at Long Beach, and that means that Pedersen's running out of opportunities to make the overtake, but he won't try and force the door. I think he'll wait for an opportunity to sit in front of him and then he may take it.
Well, the other thing is, will he even try to? Because, you know, he finishes P3 here, he starts P8 in the feature race, where I'm confident he's got the speed, and maybe that's the other reason Mazomo is going, well, I don't need to fight here because because he's going to be on a better grid position next time round. So, you know, there could be a tactical move here by Mazomo to not push on with it.
Can confirm as well, time penalty to be applied to both Jake Burton and Kurt Chapman post-race for incidents that have happened throughout this one. 20 seconds to Kurt Chapman. That was the incident with Rodney Golan down at turn 9 that we saw, and Burton getting a 5-second penalty for contact with Colby Warren. That's the current update on things for those penalties being applied. For the top three, though, they're still running nice and close up the front of the field. There's some battles happening in behind us as well, though, including this one with Jake Burton and John Akers as they battle for real estate of P10. This is the effective pole position of the next race, so whichever one of these guys finishes in this spot is going to be starting at the very front of the field. Burton would love to do it. It's only his 4th race of the season. In fact, he got put onto the locked-in list thanks to the fact that he's done 3 races in a row now here in the IRWC. Which is good for Jake, though. It's good to have him out there with us. He's a young driver, and he's hungry to get some more racing into him. I know he's hungry to race for this next season as well, so we're looking forward to seeing him out on track in Season 3.
Gradual improvement, that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
And like you said, he started halfway through the season, so he's not here to win the championship. He's here to learn, he's here to get faster. And this track here is amongst one of the hardest in iRacing. He's kept it on the island. He's P11 at the moment. If he stays there, then he'll start P11 next race, so he'll miss out on pole position. 26 seconds off, about 2 seconds a lap slower at the moment. But if he can make this spot here...
that is a mistake you don't want to make, though. Massive lock-up. John Akers has somehow come away unscathed as Burton goes off the track and into the escape road, rejoins the circuit there. That's a massive mistake to make in the 97 car. Wowee.
That's a kiss of death, wasn't it? I was saying how much he improved. But that's just way too deep. I don't think he's trying to make a passing move there.
No, I just think he missed his braking zone.
Yeah, he's not interested in passing.
No.
He's just braked too late.
That's
the consequence of it.
To be completely fair to him, he did the right thing. He actually aimed for the escape road when he knew that he was locking up. He didn't actually try and make the corner, which we've seen a lot of drivers do before. They try and make the corner and then they end up making the contact a lot worse. He did the right thing there. He aimed for the escape road, and luckily for John Akers, he wasn't collected in that moment. So I think he can breathe a sigh of relief that he wasn't collected there by Jake Burton.
But what that has also done is that's got big implications though for Akers, because he's 2 seconds a lap slower than Dan Yeaman. Dan Yeaman started P last, is already now up to P11. There's more than a realistic opportunity that Yeaman will make a pass on Akers and therefore start on pole. for the next race.
Yeah, he could quite possibly get there. I did notice then as well off turn 11, Sam Muir made a mistake, got the rear end loose, didn't hit the wall, but gave up the position to Ben Pedersen. So not all is lost for Sam, but he has given up a position's worth of points to Simon Mazzomo in behind him. Now, he'll still be gaining on Mazzomo in the championship, but it does put a little bit more pressure on him. And, well, we know that pressure can create diamonds, but it can also crack glass if you're not careful. So for Muir, he just needs to maybe hold the horses a little bit, back off now for the rest of this race, solidify P3, and get home in a position higher than your championship rival at this stage.
But also keep your eyes forward, because that's released Pedersen now, and he's clearly been the quickest of the field so far tonight. And for the first time, he's been released behind the race leader, Stefan Lawrence, who's had it pretty easy. Hasn't had a lot of pressure from Muir. Muir's driven quite a controlled race. Lawrence has led for all 12 laps so far, but right now, for the first time, he's got a car who's not only quicker, but has also got nothing to lose, and it's going to be way more aggressive. And already we can see by the run out from turn 11 that Pedersen is all over the back of Stefan Lawrence. Now, Lawrence, is he going to defend? He's going to try and defend. He's going to try and hang in there. This move will get done pretty quickly, pretty easily, and we're going to have a new race leader very shortly.
Oh, Lawrence just scrapes the wall on the exit of turn 1 somehow.
This is not over.
It's not over. He's pushing hard to stay with him. Massive catch of rear slide from Stefan Lawrence.
Now it's over.
Now it is. Fair play to Lawrence. I've been very impressed by him in his last 2 efforts this season at Interlagos and the week prior as well. He's going to be a driver to watch next season, continuously improving. I know he's got good pace in the supercar. Can it translate to getting good pace in the Porsche Cup car, though?
Now, hang on. Look behind us as well. Muir has made another mistake, and Mazzomo has gone past Muir. So I'd like to know, if we can, Mr. Producer, we can find a replay as to how that has happened. Because has Sam made a mistake?
He's slowed up. He's slowed right up.
Why is he slowing here? It can't be fuel.
No.
There's more to that than what we've just seen. It has to be more to that. Whether his car is understeered on, it's not, let's face it, it's not a straight. But why has he slowed up? Has he had a slowdown from somewhere?
Well, I can't see anywhere where he would have copped a slowdown. The only place you can get it...
back there at turn 8 or 9, whatever it is.
I think the only places you can get it is if you cross the curb at turn 9 or if you cross the curb at turn 10. They're the only 2 places I could see you getting a slowdown.
Hang on, we'll have a listen.
He's not fully into it, so he has got a slowdown.
He's actually out of it. He's actually put the brakes on it.
Well, actually, he's dropping even further back. He's back to P8, so I think he's actually got a technical issue. I think he's actually got an issue on the rig. That is a massive disaster.
Nightmare.
With 1 lap to go, he is dropping like a fly at the moment. Now, it could also be tactical, though, here, Brenton. It could be tactical. He could be maybe... Yeah.
So we're into the last lap. Ben Pedersen's going to win the race. Well done. But if we can go on board with Muir, let's see what he's doing. Is he deliberately... No, there's not an ink of common sense in what Sam Muir is doing. Not a bit.
No.
Because he was already in front of Simon Mazzomo.
Yeah.
And in the next race, he was going to be starting right next to him. Who's to say he wouldn't have passed him into turn 1? Ben Pedersen wins the race in front of Stefan Lawrence. Hooray, well done. With Simon Mazzomo P3. Sam Muir was down to 9th. Let's see if he deliberately drops to P10. And if
I think he's tactically dropping back to start pole or P2 in rate. There's no point dropping back to P10. You're just giving up points at that stage. You might as well start on the front row alongside Yeaman. He's deliberately slowed himself down to start P10. No, he's P10.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
P11.
He's P10.
He is P10. Okay.
He's deliberately
Not a fan.
No.
Not a fan of that.
But I would say as well, though, like, he wants pole. But if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just drop back to P9? You take extra points, you still start on the front row.
Not a fan of that.
No.
Even a little bit. That's Yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
No.
I can't say anything good about that. I think that's in breaching the spirit of the rules, and it makes race 1 pointless. You know, I think he's messed up, I'll be honest with you, because we don't really know the whole story to start with. There might be a reason it's happened, because he hasn't done it for the whole season. So why all of a sudden now? But he was already in front of Mazomo. And yes, it can be a difficult track to pass. And yes, it can be incidents into turn 1 that he won't be a part of because he's on pole position. But I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and contentious strategy. We've got a couple.
That's not in this.
No, it's not in the
Not
spirit.
the spirit of the series.
It's not in the spirit
No.
of the series at all.
No.
We've got a couple of chats out there. Corey Lazarus has joined us in the chat. Who qualified first, second, and third? It was Ben Pedersen, Stefan Lawrence, and Sam Muir were our top 3. And right, Sumo's the chat saying our little step fan Lawrence has blossomed. He's also saying that's embarrassing as well for Sam Muir's decision there. Should we drag in fellow admin from the race control room and maybe just discuss with him for a second?
Get the race director in. Get the race director in, absolutely, and they can have a chat. No, because
okay, I forgot about his intro music.
Do not need that.
Sorry, Jack.
We need to think: is there possible any implications from that?
Yeah. The reason we've dragged you in here, Mr. Anderson, very quickly, is we noticed that Sam Muir appears to have allegedly deliberately lifted to get back to P10 to start pole of the next race. How do we go about it? I suppose.
Well, there's nothing in the rules against it.
Well, you're right. There's nothing in the rules against it. That's what we're saying. It's not in the spirit of the competition.
Yeah, it's unsportsman. Well, it's not really unsportsmanlike.
It's not even unsportsmanlike.
It's a cheesy way to get pole, but there's technically nothing against it,
Yeah.
and no one's put anything in it about either.
Absolutely. So there is nothing that can be done.
No.
But whether you want to start the race with a black and white unsportsmanlike flag, probably not, because there's nothing in the rules to say you can't do it. But I'd imagine that next season there might be something written up that, you know, if there is something deliberately done like that and it comes across as deliberate, he might have a reason. He might. I would imagine next season's rules will probably highlight that you can't do that.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. We are currently rewriting the rules as well, so we have a full road racing rule book since we're introducing another series. So that might be something that we implement going forward. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts, Jack. Obviously, as a fellow admin, but I mean, we can't do anything about it because there's nothing in the rules that state he can't do that. I agree. I think it's a very cheesy way to get pole. We'll see if it pays off for him. Only time will tell, but we'll see.
And the other thing is now, is if Simon Mazomo finishes P3 or 4, then Mazomo's made a gain over the night. You know what I mean? He's made gains on points. So he had point advantage on Mazomo before the night. He was about to take more points out of Mazomo after that race. He's decided to throw it away. And I think he's thrown it away in the most poorest of fashions. It's hard to be a fan of what he's done there.
I'm not quite sure why someone would do that. Like favouring the losing points, if anything. But yeah.
In the meantime, I do have a notification come through on my phone from Sportsbet that he was paying $2.44 to get pole position in race 2. So with my $100 bet that I've got on, I've actually had quite a good night so far.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Fantastic. All right, I'll put you back in the room with the boys, Jackos. Thanks for coming and quickly chatting to us about it. I'm sure we'll be chatting about it post-race more. I have just cut him off. I do apologise, Jack. I've dragged him out before he could even say anything. It's a cheesy way to get pole position in race 2. It's not against the rules, at least the current rule set. Rule set V1.07 may reflect that you can't do that anymore. But, there's nothing we can do about it now. He's done it, so We'll see if the karma maybe sips with him off this one here, Brenton, or if he's even able to get a race win.
So let's do the what if situation. What if every car wanted to start on pole position? Are we then going to have a race the slowest possible as they come to the finish line to see who comes in 10th position? You know what I mean? That's why we've got to scrap that idea, introduce a rule that it says if it looks or it comes under scrutiny of being a deliberate action, may be subject to a points deficiency or, more in particular, a grid position deduction. So,
either a grid position deduction or a time penalty on the end of your race, which takes you, you'd still start pole, but you'd take less points from race one.
Yeah.
So, you'd give up your points for P10 and you drop points to maybe 10 positions back or however long it is, and then, you still get to start pole.
The other thing is you go straight to rear grid penalty. Rear grid penalty race 2.
Or a pit lane start, that's true.
Yeah, easy days. Don't give it so you get a points penalty, but you still start on pole position. No, everything you've tried to achieve, you failed, and you're at the rear grid. But anyway, we'll move on from position number 2 on the grid. Dan Yeaman's P2 on the grid.
He is.
For his first night.
He had good
pace. And Ellie Gardner in P3, who had good pace last week, has been disappointing tonight, but we know she could do a solid, consistent job. So looking forward to seeing what she can do.
Well, she did well in race 1 to get up inside the top 10. Harry Dodds has done a very similar effort from himself as well. Lawford and Dawson then start on the 3rd row with Colby Warren and Simon Mazzomo in behind them. Stefan Lawrence, Ben Pedersen then make up our inverted top 10. Rest of the field will start. They finished in race 1 with John Akers and Dean Reddit making up the top 12 positions, with Craig Schultz, Jake Burton starting in behind them. Kurt Chapman, Blake Fitzpatrick then start ahead of Johnny Rowe and Alex Schuler, with Stacey Boyd, Rodney Golan, Shannon Fever, Aaron Smith and Daniel Harris starting just ahead of Gary Watson at the back of our field here this evening. 24 cars to go racing for 40 minutes around Long Beach here this evening. Controversial way Sam Muir got pole position in this race. It's a cheesy way. It was asked as cheesy. The technical term is controversial. But Dan Yeaman's got pace. He could challenge him off the race start. And if Muir doesn't get the race start he needs, he could get eaten alive by the cars in behind him. Which then begs the question, well, what was the worth of you doing that strategy to get yourself on pole position?
Yeah, but this is the type of thing that can cost a championship. If he's rolling the dice, he could come up with a lucky 7, or he could come up cat's eyes here. I don't like what he's done. Let's see how we go race 2.
Let's see how we go. Schultze will be starting from pit lane as lights go up and we get underway at Long Beach for race number 2. What sort of chaos could ensue off the start? It's been a good start though from Muir and from Gardner, who looks to make a gain on Dan Yeaman already down towards turn number 1. But we need to keep an eye on the chaos that can ensue through the period of turn 2 and 3 at the fountain. As they make their way on through for the first time in this race, there's a couple of cars that have gone round, including Harry Dodds, into that section. It is a car park down there a little bit. He's been lucky just to avoid them, but there's more carnage ensuing as well, including Jake Burton, who's gone round as well.
Copped another hit too while he's stationary. So whilst Burton was stationary, not his fault, not a lot he could do there. Wouldn't be surprised if a safety car comes out. Please, Ben, turn your tyres off. There's a safety car call now. This is the type of thing that will help Pedersen, because he's gone from B10 already up to B7. He's already going to make some ground between himself and Muir. So still a long way to go. Expecting Pedersen to make short work of a couple of cars in front. But Muir needs to start thinking about strategy here. Whether they pit early under the safety car, I don't know the numbers, I'll be honest with you. Whether they make it or not, it would think, no, they're not pitting. So they'll keep rolling through.
I think normally
Pedersen does have some damage to the front of his car, I can see.
Normally they make around about 27 minutes on the tank. So
well short of that then.
Yeah. bit close well, not quite close
I'm not
enough.
making it from here.
Couple of cars with meatballs into pit lane. Johnny Rowe, Kurt Chapman are in. We assume Dean Redditt's going to come in as well with his meatball flag too. They'll get their fast repairs and they'll get back out on track. The issue now for Muir is, so he had a nice breakaway. He's got Gardner on his heels and he's going to have the rest of the field on his heels as well. And if we get into a scenario where we get another safety car, and let's say, for argument's sake, Colby Warren makes positions off this restart, he's going to be even closer to Muir. And Colby's driving, not angry at the moment, but he's driving frustrated, you would assume. He's got a fast car under him as well. Muir may be under pressure at the front of the field.
So there's a bit of history between Warren and Pedersen from race 1. We know what happened there at turn 11. In the end, it was no further action. But Colby's not going to just let that go and just forget that and think everything's okay. So there's going to be probably some reasonable hard defence coming up from the 201 on the 669 in particular, which is still got Alan Dawson in between. With the greatest respect to Ellie Gardner, I don't think she's going to be pushing Sam Muir hard at any time soon. So yes, whilst there's a safety car, and yes, well, I think this advantages Ben Pedersen certainly short term by making up the 3 positions already. It just settles the field down a little bit, but it's taking time off the clock as well. So it's early days. Muir's got no damage, but also right now there's no pressure. And you know, if Muir plays his card right on the restart here, he will draw well away, by a second and a half by the end of the first flying lap. So the most obvious spot is going to be at the exit of turn 11, just here, where you'd think that once the safety car's in the pits, Muir will be able to accelerate pretty hard away and then start driving away. And then the damage sustained to Pedersen actually looks pretty decent. It's a big hit at the front there. Whether that's from a contact involved on the first lap that could be under scrutiny, don't know. But we saw that, who was it? Harry Dodds went off. If we could have a look at the replay as to why Harry Dodds went off, that would be interesting, because that car was probably just in front of Ben Pedersen.
Yeah, we've got it just here. This is how it occurred for Harry down at sort of turn 1 through the fountain section. So he had Warren in behind him. The right Sim Sports car on his inside.
So where's Pedersen got the damage? No, go to Pedersen, whether that's because... go to Pedersen, we can go for a different view, thanks. Or whether it's because Lawrence is taking avoiding action. So we're going to scroll back. And we'll see why Pedersen has the damage. It could be
why. You back-ended, you rear-ended him.
Yep. So not his fault in any way, trying to take avoiding actions. Okay, so there's no reason to think that Pedersen's got any investigation under him, despite the damage. There's a big gain there around the outside.
Yeah.
That was very well done.
He did well. Just to confirm as well, I think that there was either Rodney Golan or John Akers made the good gain off that one. Just to confirm as well, so for the points, last race, so Muir finished P10, Mazomo was P3. He gave up 9 points to Mazomo to pull off this strategy. The reason I highlight this is he is actually under pressure now. He's under pressure because one mistake from him or another car that involves him could drop him to the very back of the field, and he's already 9 points in the hole. So he could give up even more points now if he ends up even further behind Mazomo throughout the next portion of this race. Not that I think Gardner or Yeaman's going to cause that to him, but a single mistake from Sam could cost him even more now. He's trying to play 3-card Monty, it seems. He's put himself back to try and put himself forward. But if Mazomo finishes any higher than P4 and Muir wins, so if Mazomo finishes P3 or P2, he is still gaining points on Muir exiting this round tonight. If it's P4, then there's no difference.
Has blown that.
Yeah.
Muir had such a good gap coming into 11 then.
And he hasn't gone.
Yeah, Muir had such a good gap. He should have just gone on with it and would have been away. Still is away, but cost himself a lot of time there. The other thing is that I'm not sure in accordance to the rules here, but once the safety car was called in to say that the safety car was ending and the lights had gone out, awful lot of cars were still weaving. I'm not sure if that's a rule in this series or not, but generally that's frowned upon.
Yeah, it's not something that we like to promote too much. We don't want him weaving, obviously an over amount, as Dean Reddit has not rejoined the circuit, so he's still in pit lane with his meatball flag. Sam Muir has got this back underway again. He's already built up about half a second back to Ellie Gardner in P2, Dan Yeaman, Angus Lawford, Colby Warren, Alan Dawson, Ben Pedersen, Simon Mazzomo, Stefan Lawrence, John Akers in behind them as well for our top 10. There is also the other point of, well, what if Muir makes a mistake in pit lane? What if he misses his pit box? It's a hell of a long way. It's a hell of a long pit lane, and if you're giving up a heap of time because you missed your pit box, well, that's not something you want to do. If he also gets himself a penalty tonight, which could see him drive through, that'll kill his race as well. So these are all factors that we need to be thinking about as Pedersen gets the job done on Alan Dawson.
One more.
And then he's got to try and get past Colby Warren. Now, Pedersen and Warren could fight together to get forward past Angus Lawford in P4. But the worry for Muir now is if he doesn't build up enough gap by the time Pedersen and Warren catches him, he's going to be under massive pressure of losing positions in this race.
So first flying lap after the safety car, 22.4 for Muir. The 22.6 for Ellie Gardner, her fastest lap of the race. So that's an outstanding effort to be only the 2/10 down, considering was over a second behind in qualifying. So well done thus far. Muir could be just getting tyres back up to temperature, but only the 0.6 of a second lead on the first lap. Would have thought it would have been more than that, but already now this lap Muir is starting to draw away, and Gardner's at the stage now whether she's looking forward or looking back, because there's certainly some pressure coming from Yeaman, who I believe has got the pace to get some, get up to Muir once they get past Gardner.
He very well could, but he's got to get past Gardner as soon as possible, because if Muir breaks away above a second, that's it, they're out of tow range. It's going to be so much harder to chase him down and put the pressure on him throughout the next period of this race. Now, it'll be interesting if maybe, we mentioned last week how Gardner likes to go for an undercut, but there's not much of an undercut because you're not taking tyres. There is an undercut opportunity tonight, though, Brenton, because you can get yourself in clean air and then not be stuck in traffic. And the traffic is the major factor of how you can get held up. So it's not as good as a regular undercut where you take tyres, but if you're a Dan Yeaman, if you're a Warren, if you're a Pedersen, even if you're a Lawford, you could get some benefits by pitting a little bit early, getting into clean air, and being able to push on and not in the traffic.
Yeah, so certainly for Muir, Gardner, and Lawford, I would say there's no benefit at all. There's no undercut because you're clear and you're not being held up. Certainly for Yeaman, who's clearly now being held up by Gardner, and for Warren and Pedersen, again being held up by Lawford. Yes, there is an opportunity for an undercut there. If anything, though, Pedersen's not putting a lot of pressure on the back of Colby Warren at the moment. We're only talking a couple of car lengths, but certainly hasn't been in a position to stick a nose in. But I think the real scrap's about to happen here between Yeaman and Gardner, and it's deep here into 9, I think it is. Yep, that job's done. I would love to see Daniel Yeaman release himself here. And I know it's his first race, and I know there's championship implications if he starts getting his nose a bit dirty. I'd love to see him have a go here. Go for the race win, Dan, and see what Muir does. We know Muir's thinking long-term tactically by putting himself on pole. If he wants to be even smarter here, you don't get in the way of Dan Yeaman. There's no race here for Sam Muir. You might not go on and win now, but you also don't want to be ended up in a wall because you're trying to race with someone. Ooh.
Ellie Gardner off the road at turn 1, just got a little bit unstuck under brakes, and now she's had to use the escape road. Kept it out the wall though, which was good. Of course, this is Dan Yeaman's first race back in the series after a little bit of a break this season. Did race early on, got some good points on the board as well, but definitely, he has got work commitments, so he can only race around when he has free time. It is good to see him back in the field though tonight, and for challenging for a race lead, it seems, because he's got some good pace in this car tonight. And if he can maximise on that pace, put some pressure on Sam may, as you said, just give up the position and let him through, because he hasn't got a fight in the championship, does Dan. There's no point battling him for a race win when it's not actually going to cost you much more than a couple of points. You might as well let him have it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Significantly, though, with the demise of Ellie Gardner, Oh, and a big move by Pedersen. I think Pedersen's going to get that done. That now promotes Mizomo up one spot. So Mizomo to P7 now. So I'd be interested in the points, thank you, if Muir comes P7 and Mizomo comes P6. Then there's not going to be a lot of gain there, is there? So all Sam's done tonight is risk reputation in the team.
So if they were to finish how they currently are, Muir would be gaining 17 points in this race, so it'll be a 8-point gain across the race weekend because he gave up 9 points in race 1.
Yeah, that's if they finish where they are.
That's if they finish where they are.
I don't expect them to finish with us. We know that Simon's very good at back-ending a race. So what I mean by back-ending a race is his initial race pace seems to be quite conservative, and then after pit stops, the car seems to come alive and make some positions, whether it's for saving fuel or whatever. But he certainly can back-end a race well. But at the same time, I don't think Mizomo's coming P7. Whether he comes 6 or 5, I don't know. And there's still Lawford in front of him. But I also don't think Sam Muir's going to win this race. So, and he doesn't need to win this race. So let's just say Muir comes 2nd and Mizomo comes 6. Then those points get restricted quite a lot.
Yeah, he could have had at least a positions gain on him in race 1, and then, could have raced his way to a points gain in race 2, where he's given up 9 points in race 1, and now in race 2 he risks giving up even more as Pedersen shoots the half up the inside into turn 1, takes P3, and now the pressure is starting to build on Sam Muir because you've got Pedersen, who has now been released from this battle pack behind. There's 2.4 seconds up to Daniel Yeaman. That's going to come down very, very quickly though, with Pedersen hot on the heels of this top 2 battle. And if all of a sudden Pedersen gets past Yeaman, well, you are really struggling for breath if you're Sam Muir, because the pressure's going to be at a maximum.
So 3 seconds off the lead at the moment for Pedersen. Quicker last lap, and actually that last lap was his fastest lap, 21.273. That time's going to come down. So now he's forward plan. Well, hopefully he's forward plan. Number 1, he's turned his tyres off. But number 2, as soon as he gets onto the back of Dan Yeaman, which is going to happen, I firmly believe he will make gains and he will catch Yeaman. Does he consider pitting straight away? We were talking about it before, being stuck in traffic, etc., etc. Once he's on the back of Yeaman, does he throw it into pit lane, take his fuel, doesn't take tyres, gets back out there, hopefully with some clear track? Hopefully by the time he gets there, other cars would have pitted already. There's been quite a few who have. And there's quite a big gap actually between 15th and 16th. There's 11 seconds between Ellie Gardner and Kurt Chapman. So there's a gap there developing already. And hopefully Pedersen can see this. So within a few laps, that gap will be right on the money. That gap should be filled.
So there was an attempt at a move here down at turn 1 for Stefan Lawrence onto Simon Mizomo, but he locked it right up. There was a bit of contact made.
Yeah. Does not need that.
Yeah, did redress the position though, gave it back to Mizomo. Now I don't know if that was actually Lawrence's intention because it was such an early lockup, or if he maybe just didn't anticipate the braking zone well enough into that corner. I'm not sure. What I can see though is Colby Warren. Oh,
disappearing.
Yep. Colby Warren is hot on the heels of Angus Lawford, now challenging him for P4. So if Warren gets past him, we believe he will chase down the top 3, and he will then start to put pressure on the race leaders as well.
So straight away, the first flying lap in the clear by Pedersen. Look, it's a good lap, there's no doubt. It's actually the quickest lap of the race so far, but it's not significantly faster than Sam Muir. Just the 1.5 tenths faster, 9.52 compared to an 8.28, with Yeaman stuck in the middle on a 21 flat. Muir's just starting to draw away. It's only 3/4 of a second, but certainly there isn't the pressure that we thought could be heaped upon by Yeaman. So Muir is driving a very good race here, good tactical race, not pushing too hard. Pedersen's the one that interests me, and also Mizomo is pitting, I think. So
no, he's got a drive-through. Mizomo had a drive-through.
Drive-through. Okay. Well, I haven't seen that come through.
I would say he may have had a drive-through for incident points.
Already 17 incident points? Oh, there's 4 of them right there.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, then that changes the championship completely. Absolutely completely. Is yeah, okay. Well, that's absolutely significant. And
That's the only answer I can give you. He's not on the incident report sheet, and he has had a little bit of head to toe with a couple of drivers, including one down at turn 11 where he would have actually probably copped 8 incident points because not only did he rear-end another car, he actually got rear-ended in the process. So, 2 4Xs plus then the 4X from Lawrence side-swiping him into turn 1. Well, that's already 12. Could have very easily, knocked out another 5 across the piece as well. So for Mazomo, he is now buried in the field. And what this could possibly do is if Muir manages to win this race, because Mazomo's back in P17, he still needs a pit stop. If Muir goes on to win this race, that's probably championship over for Simon Mazomo.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely it is. Look, there's... Ultimately, at the end of the day, don't agree with how Muir has done this. But ultimately, he hasn't broken any rules. Have to be clear about that. As I said, it's I'm not going to say it's Alex Carey and Johnny Bairstow because that was in the rules as well. But there's different ways of doing it. But at the moment, this time next year or next season, when we talk about championship winners, it's not going to say, oh, but he only won because of what he did at race 1 at wherever we are, Long Beach. That's not why he's going to win this series. He's going to win the series because he's been the most consistent, has attended the most races, and has driven very, very well in race trim. He hasn't won it yet, but he's certainly looking very good. We've still got 21 minutes to go. There is a bit of pressure building from Pedersen and Yeaman behind, but at the moment he looks like he's in quite decent control. So
there is the point to mention as well. If this were to become Mazomo's drop round tonight, he would gain back 181 points on his championship tally, which would put him what he's currently on, which is 733. Muir on 1,572 needs to gain 161 points to match that. Well, he's already gotten tonight in race 1. He already got 49 points, so he needs another 121. So to match it, he needs to finish 21st or below.
Certainly going to be doing that. That's the thing. In most championships, the numbers do drop away, don't they? And if you go into the last few races in the lead, it's generally easier to hang on than it isn't, because if you have a nightmare, you don't drop down until P35, P40, you drop down to P21, P22. And we've seen that with Mazomo at the moment. He's P16 at the moment, but he still has to do a pit stop. There's been other cars behind who have already pitted, including Shannon Fever and including Rodney Gullen. I would think that he will clear both of those anyway, but it's a long way back from Ez now. 5 seconds to the car in front, which is Craig Schultz's. Ellie Gardner now pits from what was P11, but whilst Mez's times have been competitive, they're not flash enough that anyone would have any confidence in him driving through the field.
What Mazomo probably needs now is he needs a safety car called, and if it's going to get called, perfect time for him to have it called is as he's approaching pit lane. That would be perfect for Simon Mazomo if that were to happen.
What he needs is just to run long. So don't pit. Do not pit. Run as long as you can in the hope that there's a safety car. And if there is a safety car, get some fresh tyres on it. While no one else has, but we're only talking 18 and a half minutes to go. But splash some fresh rubber on it and see what it can do. But that's only if there's a safety car. If there's no safety car, don't put tyres on it. Just pray to the safety car gods that something comes out and helps you. But again, with a reduced field, with only 21, 22 cars running, it's already less than half the chance of if there was 45 cars running as a safety car.
Well, we'll see how this pans out throughout the rest of this race, but You know, it's been an up and down night for some drivers. It's been controversial as well. We are halfway through our feature race here this evening. We're going to take this time to give quick thanks to our series sponsors VRS for coming on board this year to help support us in the series, as Blake Fitzpatrick's just had an incident in behind, so we'll just quickly check on that, make sure it's nothing untoward. Well, he had a spin at turn 1, but it's fine. He's going to get going again. So we'll have this quick little ad break. We'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Back more with more VRS Porsche Cup Series action after these quick short messages from Virtual Racing School.
These are the VRS Dark Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All 3 pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the VRS Porsche Cup Series, brought to you by the iRacing World Challenge right here on Infinity Broadcasting. A massive thank you to VRS for coming on board in 2025 as the title sponsor of this series. A couple of pit stops have been happening during this period, and another thing that's been happening is Ben Pedersen has now caught up to Daniel Yeaman as we sit 25 minutes completed in this 14-minute feature race here tonight. A round which has been filled with a little bit of controversy around the tactics of race leader Sam Muir at the moment, deliberately, or allegedly deliberately, slowing down to start P1 in race 2 as Yeaman comes into pit lane. So that's just released Pedersen, and that is a lifeline for Ben Pedersen right now, because he can push on, try and get past this lap traffic ahead of him of Rodney Gollan, gets that job done, and now he's got clean air up to Muir. The other big moment that's happened in this one, Simon Mazzomo getting an incident point drive-through here tonight has dropped him down the order. That would lose him a massive amount of points to Sam Muir. The only lifeline he can hope for is that Muir gets one as well, because that would put him in the exact same boat that Mez is currently in. Either that, or have Ben Pedersen be your rocket ship at the front of the field and maybe, just maybe, give him a little turn around. But there's not much more that Mez can hope for.
So significantly here, let's have a look to see whether Yeaman gets through to turn 1. Has he come out and cleared traffic? No, he hasn't. So Yeaman has got Dawson now.
Chapman ahead of him.
Chapman in front.
Yep.
Sorry, Chapman in front.
But Chapman will need a stop in this race. He's taken one on lap 1 previously.
Exactly. So he has taken an early stop, but he might have also put a bit of fuel in it, so he'll be able to run longer. So whether that holds him up at all, but also what that does, it holds a torch as to what will happen when Pedersen and Muir pit. So if Muir's the pit now, he's going to come out in front of Chapman, we think. But if Pedersen pits now, he won't come out in front of Chapman. So Pedersen needs to run one more lap at the lap times he's going. So last lap for Pedersen at 20.5 and for Chapman at 22.1. So 1.5 seconds difference. Pedersen just needs one more lap. If the fuel allows, do one more lap, Ben, and you will be clear, so long as you've turned tyres off.
Yeah, turn tyres off. Untick your tyres. For Yeaman...
Chapman very slow on exit there at 11, very slow.
He was indeed.
So Pedersen will already be past his crew. So with the last lap time of a 20.5 and Chapman at 22.4, thanks for coming. Pedersen is already past his group. So a loss here for Yeaman, and gaining all the time is Ben Pedersen's now under a second.
Yeah, he is chasing down the race leader of Sam Muir at this stage, where fingers crossed for Ben's sake, he doesn't throw the possibility of a race win away, that he's unticked those tyres, and that when he comes in, he only takes fuel on board this car. We've also, thanks Mark, thank you for pointing it out, Yeaman also has got a new rear bumper, so he took a fast repair on that stop to clean up the car. It was dented and now it isn't, so the workers...
Pit.
Yep, Muir should be
so
in.
now Chapman's...
Yeah.
Now Chapman's let him through. And we've got John
Lawford
Akers not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy with something. Looks like he's had a bit of a love tap.
That was with Ellie Gardner, it seems. So Gardner, who pitted early, has been caught out in the traffic here. Oh, actually, how has that happened?
He turned in.
Well, I would argue Ellie's far enough up. Now, it's not a passing opportunity, but she is alongside him. So
let's have just probably a different view of her to see how late has come in. So you go rear chase. Might be. This is just a mess here. Without looking. Nah, not there. Not there.
Still
Mistake
alongside.
there on the exit by Akers.
She was
there.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, was there a racing room provided? Probably was. Look at
She was next to the wall, but I don't know, it's hard.
Overlap was never broken, so it was constant overlap. Look, I think there would be fair argument there to say no action. Muir in the pits will come out. Well, he's been stationary for a little bit.
Well, he's only just running down the lane
Warren,
now, so...
Yeah, Warren will go through. Schuler will go through. This is good for Pedersen. If Pedersen can get a good lap time here, last lap of a 120.8, very interesting where Muir comes out. Whether he comes out behind Schuler, I'm thinking yes, will do. And then we'll come out. I don't think we'll come out behind Yeaman. I think we'll be well clear of Yeaman.
Mez is in as well for his stop. So
this is going to be close. This is going to be very close
to
Muir here.
And
because
Yeaman's
Muir's
at
going to
pace.
go the long way around.
He
and
does.
Yeaman's
oh my God, he got him.
Wow.
Yeaman got him.
Wow. That's a great effort by Yeaman, considering it was held up by Chapman for a while. And look, you're going to be passing the keys to this race over to Ben Pedersen right now, so long as we said, turn tyres off.
So
long stop. So let's have a look at the stop by Muir. 9.2 stationary. In comparison with Yeaman, 7.7 stationary. Interesting. We've got Pedersen in the pits now, and everyone's got their fingers crossed.
Yeah, everyone has got their fingers crossed for Ben Pedersen that he has unticked tyres. I mean, it's a long pit lane, so he's got plenty of time to untick them.
Check it again.
Yeah, check it again. Into the box he goes.
Because sometimes once you cross the pit entry line, things do light up, and maybe that's his setting, but
he didn't take tyres. He only took fuel.
Get in there.
So he, I love how excited we are because he's finally managed to pull it off, and this could be for a race win. Because Dan Yeaman is just coming across the start-finish line now. It's going to be about as close as it was with Sam Muir. So let's see where Pedersen ends up. Well ahead well ahead of Dan Yeaman and Sam Muir, and Ben Pedersen will rejoin the circuit in the effective race lead in P2. Dan Yeaman in P3 will be P2 when Colby Warren comes through pit lane, and Sam Muir in corrected P3 at this stage. So that there is a fantastic effort from Ben Pedersen. Finally took a pit stop without taking tyres, and it shouldn't cost him a race win this time by.
Now, for all those people watching for the first time, no, we're not Ben Pedersen fans. No, we're not on the Ben Pedersen fan club. But it's well overdue because he's driven superbly over the last 3 rounds and has made tactical errors. Hasn't made driving errors, has made tactical errors, and he's learnt from that. And as things go, he's going to be in the position that he has deserved. By the time everyone's finished, they're in the position that they deserve to be. Sam Muir. But it's been a good race so far. It's been a tidy race. The only thing that's really tripped up has been Simon Mazomo with his points. He's had his pit stop, P13, and he's going to be working really hard to make any ground from that. He's got Stacey Boyd, Ellie Gardner certainly within range, but the best that you can see Mazomo getting now is P11. And that would be an absolute nightmare for him.
Could be P10. His teammate Craig Schultz just entered pit lane
as well.
And knowing of the championship implications,
it'll be a short stop
Craig,
for Schultz though.
Yeah, but Craig could let him past because he is his teammate. So they may play the team game here for 9-5 of getting Mazomo at least one more position in this race. He will be hungry to get past Boyd. Schultz is exiting now, but he's got a long way to go down the pit straight. So Mez may actually pass him on the exit of the pit lane. So
yeah, he'll get him now. He'll get him now. So exit of pits.
He got him.
Got him anyway.
And he wants to move on Boyd as well into turn 1. So a 2-for-1 special.
That was always going to happen. Mule will come P3, putting pressure on Yeaman late. Be interesting to see if this goes completely south. He doesn't need to. At the moment, the championship's in his pocket. He's P3. Walk away and collect the points, as dodgy as it may seem, because your competitor is gone P10 this race. Now, that will change points a little bit.
This won't even be Mazomo's drop round at this stage, actually. If he's P11 now, so it won't be
but
his
with
drop
Muir,
round, but yeah.
Muir's going to be carrying a 10 and a 3 tonight, and Mazomo's going to be carrying a 3 and a 10 tonight. So, I think there's more points involved with the feature race.
There is indeed.
But it's not going to be as significant a gain as what Muir was probably thinking, and especially considering the misfortunes from Mazomo tonight, who, if he's been involved with that many incidents, got what was coming with the drive-through. But if Mazomo can make this move on Ellie Gardner, there's 4 seconds to make up in 5 minutes though. So there's a lot of driving to go. But at the moment, Mez is 2 seconds a lap faster than Gardner. So it's going to come down to the last lap +1 with a passing move needed. So there's going to be a bit of pressure on here.
Let's think about this scenario that if Simon Mazomo didn't actually get that drive-through, he would have been 40 seconds up the road. He would have been right here with Sam Muir. He would have been in P4 about 8 seconds ahead of Colby Warren. So
yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't.
He didn't. No.
So no, I know what you're saying, and it would have been, in essence, the wrong thing to do by Muir. I think it's already ethically the wrong thing to do, but by saying that strategically it would have been the wrong thing. I get that, but at the same time, the reason that Mazomo got that drive-through pitting was because he was in P8 on the grid and did get involved in mid-pack incidents, which caused those points to build up and up. So, it's a two-way street there, and that could have easily happened to Sam Muir if he started P8 on the grid in race 2. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't. And at the moment, Muir's P3, going to collect some good points. Mazomo P11, now just 3.5 seconds off of Ellie Gardner, who, by the way, last lap was 2 seconds off pace because compared to Mazomo, but this lap only half a second off. So you can't see Mazomo gaining the 3.5 seconds in 3.5 minutes.
No, not as likely to happen.
And there's, if you look there, Gardner's way down the road.
Sim Racing and Focus in the chat saying Muir has played it perfectly, gave himself invert pole just to get away from the midfield carnage. Ethically, it's fine, gave up 9 points to do it. Look, he didn't do anything egregious to get there, I agree. You know, but then there's also the question of, well, was it against the sportsmanship of, you know, he did give up points, I agree. He gave up points to get pole. He gave something back. I don't know. It's a tough one, and it's probably a very contentious one as well. A lot of people may have different opinions about it. You know, some will be on far one side of the fence, some will be on others, some will be right in the middle. You know, would I do it? Probably not. I would have just taken the points and then tried to fight my way through, but that's what I would have done. You know, doesn't mean that Sam has to do what I would have done.
Absolutely, and like we've said right from the start, it's not against the rules. I don't think it's in the spirit of the rules, and I think there's an ethical problem. I will stand by that. But also, if we leave this door open, then in this same format from every race onwards, those that are hoping to win race 2 are going to be racing as hard as they can for P10. And if that means cars stopping on the start-finish line to wait for 7, 8, 9 to drive past them and then putt across, is that really what we want to see? Or should we try and put a stop to that type of thing before it happens?
Yeah, and I think as well that the one thing to remember is too, you know, Mez may have copped incident points and gotten that drive through. He didn't get every single incident point though because of his fault. He was in the traffic.
Yeah, no, but that,
you know.
Yeah, but that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal. Yeah, that he's in amongst the traffic. That's again, it's certainly not all of it's in his control. But if he wasn't in the traffic, he wouldn't have got those.
No.
So, you know, that Muir has, whether he's chosen this track individually because of the concrete jungle that it is, but you know, it's just unlucky for Mazomo. It's just unlucky, wrong place, wrong time. But you know, Muir has gone, well, I've taken out the wrong place aspect of that. He's put himself in the right place. Like I said though, I don't really I'm not a fan of how it happened, but it doesn't mean that he's broken any rules to make it happen.
No, it's very, very true. There are some battles happening though. We have got Yeaman and Muir battling away for P2 at the moment. Stefan Lawrence is trying to chase down Angus Lawford. And Jake Burton's given up a little bit of time further back. Aaron Smith is still struggling at the back of the field as well. John Akers is trying to chase down Rodney Golan, who's about 36 seconds up the road from him, so probably not going to chase them down. He has got Gary Watson hot on his heels though at the moment. You know, and as contentious as everything's been tonight, we appreciate that everyone has an opinion. You know, they're like, it's, you know, it's like having a nose. Majority of people have got one. You know, Brendan Griffiths in the chat saying it's what Muir did, removed himself from the carnage. He did, and it's a tactic that he used. It's not against the rules. And Mark as well saying as well, I think Muir has used the rules to his benefit, and now it's up to the rule makers to patch it up. Agreed, yeah. And that's, you know, that's something that we'll do. We'll try and work around avoiding having that happen again. So then the ruling is fair. But then it's also, you know, we have the opportunity to say, hey, what you did is, you know, it's against the rules. We don't currently have a rule in place. Will we have a rule in place in future? Most likely. But that's what happens. As Ben Pedersen, though, comes up towards the final few corners, he looks to take himself a perfect night on the road here at Long Beach. Win in race number 1 and then a win in race number 2. Takes himself the full 240 here at Long Beach this evening. A maximum points gain in the final drop-all round of the season. Daniel Yeaman will come home in P2 with Sam Muir, the championship leader, extending his gap, coming home in P3. Warren will then come home in P4 with Angus Lawford looking to come home inside of the top 5. A great effort from him. Stefan Lawrence, Alan Dawson look to make it a double Riot Sim Racing top 10 as they finish P6 and P7, and a great effort from those guys.
Is Schuler making the finish line, the car 83? Or is Lawrence making...
Lawrence is making it. No, he's not. one of them isn't making it. I think one of them's run out of fuel.
Yeah.
Lawrence has made it. Now we
Fuel
do have a rule that you must make it under your own power. Gardner has given the position to Simon Mazzomo
Wow.
in the dying embers. Now I don't know if
wow.
Mez got past her or if she gave it to him.
Ninth for Mazzomo. Ninth. So who did he
Because
pass
I
there on the
think
last lap?
Jake
Certainly-
Burton also ran out of fuel because he's actually
Yep.
pulled into pit lane. He hasn't actually finished the race.
Well,
So I think Jake Burton ran out of fuel on the last lap, or he crashed the car and ran out. This was Mez. There's Gardner.
so Gardner out of fuel.
No.
or braking.
No, I think Gardner's just given it to him. I think she's just helped her
Okay.
friend take the position.
Yeah.
Bit like having a teammate help you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they're not teammates.
They're not, but they are good friends. So,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Again, that could be under scrutiny, but well, Mazzomo's got up to ninth.
Yep.
So considering what could have happened,
could have been a much worse loss across the night. Probably
Absolutely.
helped by the fact that Burton ran out of fuel, and his friend Ellie Gardner helped him to the position. I don't see anything wrong in what Ellie did by letting him pass, helping her friend. She hasn't got a fight in the championship. I think that's okay. But yeah, very contentious night on the road tonight.
So at the end of the day, Mr. Pointsman, Muir P3, Mazzomo P9. Has Mazzomo made a gain over the night? We're carrying a 3 and a 9 in comparison.
Mazzomo,
with a 10 and a 3.
Mazzomo-
It'll be very close to points. Not a lot of gains there.
So
I think maybe Muir still makes a small gain.
Let me do the maths very quickly. Get my calculator out. So 150 157 plus 58. He got 215 points. Did Simon Mazzomo. And Sam Muir got 223. So through all that,
so
Muir gained 6 points. No, a bit more. 7.
8 points. 215 to 223.
Yeah,
8.
8 points.
Well, you'd rather gain 8 than lose 8.
He gained 8 of the 9 points that he gave up in race 1.
Yeah.
So would
Yeah,
you
and-
know?
Well, at the start of the night, if they offered you that you're going to pick up 8 points on your championship contender, you're going to take that every day of the week, aren't you?
You are going to.
So it's overall, it's a gain for Sam Muir, absolutely. But yeah, different ways of doing it, and that goes two ways. Gardner and Mazzomo are not in the same team, and we've got a race on. So, already, in the last race of the season, you're asking what's going to be the point of Gardner being in the race if Mazzomo's behind, because she's just going to let him pass. I don't know, and you can't just say to the first two cars, just go let them race and they come P1 and 2, because that's not going to change anything in the championship. So I would have preferred if Gardner stuck in there and, finished the race off for a team in P9, but that hasn't happened. But yeah, we'll move on.
Yep. I mean, Ellie's an adult. She made the decision to let him pass. That's her choice. That's tactically how she wanted to take it, I guess. But, both could be considered as maybe unethical. I don't know. We're about to find out if what Sam Muir did in race 1 was deliberate or not, because we're about to ask him the question. Mr. Muir, P3 on the road in race 1, race 2, P10 on the road in race 2, and it looked as if that may have been a tactic of yours to get pole position in race 2.
Would you believe me if I had the hardware issue or something along those lines? No.
If you had not finished in P10, probably I would believe that. But because you finished in P10, it's a bit fishy for me.
With all those calls going through from race control in that first race from the mid-pack, I thought, oh, gee whiz, I don't really want to be starting. back down there on row 5 for the second leg, and we're at that point in the championship where we've earned a little bit of a lead. So, and then the way that the points are sort of constructed, for me at least, the risk outweighed the reward, if you like, of finishing in that P3 for race 1 there. So, never done anything like it before. Don't know how I feel about it, but it's the card that we've chosen to play. And I just wanted to get out of tonight just with a straight car and a bag of points, because we didn't have that drop round, unlike Mez and a few of the other guys that we're battling with the championship at the moment. So box ticked, and now we can just move on to Detroit in the final round.
Well, what I will say is, Sam, you have done one positive thing. You've allowed us to review the rules now going forward. You found a loophole in the system. Fair play to you for finding a loophole. We will probably have a workaround for that loophole in future, though, just quietly. But I think that's more or less just for, you can obviously get the worst end of that, where you then get everyone trying to do that, more so than one car, which can then obviously be a bit controversial. So, we've had it before where we've had a driver find a loophole, and fair play to them when they do. But adjustments do get made after that. So, fair play. You found a tactic that worked. It worked for you. You got your pole position in race 2, and then that ended up getting you a podium in race 2 as well. So, you ended up getting 8 points on the board over Mez throughout that one. He unluckily... Well, he started in that mid-pack, and he ended up getting a drive-through for incident points because of the, touching of cars that can happen off the race start here. You took yourself out of that scenario, so you risk limited yourself in that scenario. So fair play to you on that one. Belle Isle next week, 2 30-minute feature races, split points on offer, so 120 for the win in both. What sort of tactic are you going to bring next week? Which could see you try and lock out this championship, because you've got 28 points now over him. You've got to beat him. If I have a very quick look at the point structure, I got to beat him by about 10 positions in each race, roughly. What's the tactic going to be? Or you just got to beat him, actually. He's going to beat you by 10 positions. So is it just going to be try and maintain and stay ahead of him and hope for the best, or is there going to be anything you can pull out your sleeve?
Yeah, pretty much. It'd just be head down, look after ourselves, get in a lot of pracky between now and next week. I really do enjoy Detroit, but I haven't done too many laps in the Cup car around there. So another street track, anything can happen. 20 points, that's an internet outage, one hardware glitch, one mistake, and it's all over. So absolutely nothing in it, and it's going to go down to the wire. And I'm really looking forward to next week. It should be a good battle.
Well, I can applaud you for your creativity, Sam. It was very good. I will give you those props. It's very creative. The chat was behind you for that choice, actually. They were behind you for that choice. So fair play. Well done tonight. P3 in the end in race 2. A good, solid amount of points on the board. You go into the championship round next week with 28 points in the lead of the championship. So, you've got some wriggle room to play with across the 2 races next week. Anything can happen, but, hopefully for your sake, it goes positively for you next week.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and I suppose the iRacing gods will make up their mind as to whether I've got some karma coming my way next week or not. But either way, this season so far has been an absolute blast. It's been awesome battling guys like Simon and Benny and Colby. I've raced Simon before and Ben, but a lot of these other guys I haven't had the opportunity to race with or against before, and I've loved every second of it. I've exceeded my own expectations coming into it so far. So we'll just leave it all on the line next week, have a crack, and see where we end up.
Now, I'll ask you a quick final question before we let you go. If you do win the championship next week, are you going to be running the number 1 on your car next season?
Don't know. I haven't thought about it, honestly.
We can make the choice for you and just make it a rule that the champion has to run number 1.
True. Well, I probably will. I've won one Porsche Cup League before, but that was sort of the last season that they ever did Porsches in. So I never even got the opportunity to run the number one or defend my title. So yeah, knowing that, you know, if Corey Lazarus or a Job Stewart's able to commit, you know, to the full 10 rounds next season,
11 rounds
it's going to be
next
very,
season.
very hard. 11 rounds indeed.
Yep.
It's going to be very hard to keep the number one on the door. So might have to take the opportunity while we've got it. But still 2 races to go.
Yeah, my mindset is you may never get a chance to run it again, so why not run it when you get the opportunity? You know, that's my thought process as a driver. Not everyone shares that mindset. Some people believe they're going to win every championship, so then they don't bother running it. But, you know, it's nice to see a number one on the grid. It's, you know, it's really, really good. He hasn't won it yet, Mez. Mez is in the chat claiming you've won it already, Sam, but anything can happen at Belle Isle. We know this.
Just muzzing me.
He is, but Sam, let us know who helps get you out on track. Anyone you wish to give a shout out to as well, for myself, Brenton, and the rest of the crew, congratulations on your P3 here in the feature race.
Yeah, cheers guys. Just a massive shout out to all the admin, race control, and well done to Benny and Dan for their podium tonight. They drove awesome in that final race, especially Benny. Pole, a clean sweep for him. So yeah, awesome job. And yeah, bring on Belle Isle.
All right, well, we'll see you next week, Sam. Thanks so much once again. Looking forward to seeing how you go and seeing if you can lock out this championship for yourself.
Cheers, mate. Catches.
Thank you. Next up, we have P2 on the road here this evening for Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport. Dan Yeatman returns to the series and he takes home a P2 in the end. Great job tonight, Dan. Well done.
Thanks, Hamish. Honestly, a little surprised it's turned out this way, but I mean, yeah, I'll take a podium result anytime I can get them.
Well, you've got one up on the rest of your team, like Lockhart, Broughton, and Connor Nixon. You've actually got a podium here, so well done for that. You know, in late, didn't qualify, started at the back. What was it like dealing with all that traffic? I know, especially lap one of race one, you know, dealt with a bit of traffic through 2 and 3. How was it, though, traversing it all and trying to get yourself in a good position to start race 2 at the front of the field?
Yeah, it was hairy, and honestly, it took about the good first 15 minutes of race 1 to sort of realise that we were in a chance of shooting for at least the top 10 and aiming for the reverse pole. And it didn't help that, unfortunately, I got a nice gap to work into turn 1, picked up a few spots straight away off the start, but then a bit of trouble on the exit of 1 meant that I worked my way down to the fountain and got tagged and spun back around and had to stop and wait before I could get going again. So undid all the progress that I did straight off the start. And at the end of the day, it was a case of had to be really patient around here. Wasn't confident with the brake zones, given how bumpy it is at this place. I didn't want to send it in and make a mess of something and screw other people's races up tonight. And did get a lot of second chances through other people making mistakes and picking up spots that way in the first race.
Now, I know that obviously, sorry, you are racing around your work schedule this season. Are we going to be able to see you on track next week at the beautiful Belle Isle circuit?
Let me double check. I can probably have a look and see what my work schedule is for next week. But,
check that JB schedule of yours, Gaiman.
Well, I'd probably be close to being late, but it's not an impossibility that I can make the final next week.
Well, we'll hope to see you there. Hopefully we can see you back next season as well for more attempts, of course, with Chicago on offer next season, where we know there was an infamous moment with Matt Bowler back in the AOG days where he ended up upside down and in the road. So maybe we can see you out on track next season at Chicago and involved in that series once again. But Dan, a massive effort from yourself tonight. Congratulations on your success here at Long Beach in the P2 in the feature race. Let us know who helps get you out on track. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well, for myself, Brenton, and the rest of the crew. Congrats on this podium in the feature, and hopefully we see you back next week.
Yeah, thank you, Hamish. Yeah, to all the boys over at Orbit Drop Bear, big thanks for being part of the team. And yeah, hopefully going from strength to strength wherever we race these days. Big special shout out to iLiveries and Revolution Race Gear as the principal partners on the car so far this year in 2025. And then additionally on that, in Coast Engineering Solutions, Hybrid Tune, Revolution, Hybrid Racing Simulations, Demon Tweaks as well for being continuous supporters of the team as well. And I mean, yeah, thanks for putting the series on, Hamish, along with the guys helping you admin. And hopefully, yeah, look forward to watching things back tonight. And did look out from the outside because there are a couple of hairy moments in the cockpit, but thankfully held it together.
Well, Dan, thanks so much for coming over to chat to us. Best of luck next time out on track with us, whether it's next week or it's next season. We look forward to seeing you back with us once again.
Yeah, fingers crossed we can make the finale and then have a look at the Season 3 plans and see how that'll work for me with everything off the sim as well, indeed.
No worries, Dan. Thank you. Next up, we have our... I cut him off. I keep on cutting people off. I feel so bad that I cut people off so much. But next up, we have our round winner and double race winner here tonight. Pole position in race 1. Won race 1. Went on to win race 2 as well. It is Ben Pedersen. Ben, perfect night on the road for yourself. Pole position, race win in race 1, race win in race 2. Maximum points on offer for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish, Brenton. It was good fun, although I think I gave the track a few coats of paint. But, yeah, it's one of my favourite tracks, so I had a ball racing around here. It was pretty generous of Sammy, but I know why he did it. I gave him a little bit of a dig for being an unsportsmanlike kind of dude, but I was only kidding.
Oh, don't worry.
He's done
Me and
well to wrap it up.
Bretton did the same thing in the booth, but I don't feel I don't feel it was a joke, Bretton. I feel,
yeah.
But I mean, you know, we often like to give some level of plaudits for creativity when people find a loophole like that and they play that sort of game. In future, they probably are going to try and limit that by putting a rule in place which would limit it a little bit. But
yeah, it's cheeky.
Yeah.
But when is racing not controversial?
Yeah, that's very, very true. But you had anything but a controversial race tonight. You were incredibly quick. You put on some fantastic moves throughout the race. Turn 1 pretty much became your bread and butter by the end of it. You were just passing left, right, and centre into turn 1. Talk us through both your races though, because there were some great moves from you. You had some really good pace. You just looked really confident in the car. And I have to shout out, Bretton gave a little fist pump and a yes when we realised you didn't take tyres in your stop. So something finally paid out for you in the end.
Yeah, well, it's only one stop, so it doesn't automatically select them again. So I can do that in the pits. I nearly actually missed entering in race 2 because for some reason my sound system muted. And I don't know if you guys have ever driven with no sound. It's impossible not being able to hear the tyres or the engine. But apart from look, it's never event free when it comes to me. I always seem to attract trouble. But look, race 1, I just drove as hard as possible after making that mistake off the launch. I've got to have a shout out to the Riot boys too. They're going to be adopting me, and that's probably the last send I'll ever get to make on one of them when they're leading a race. But yeah, no, it was good fun. It was good fun, and a pip to Sam and Daniel as well. Like I was pushing hard to catch them. They were pretty fast. Like I didn't leave anything on the table in the second race to try and get back to them.
Yeah, you look like a busboy out there. You didn't leave anything behind. You picked up every little crumb that was left behind on the table. But a perfect night for you, perfect amount of points as well. Belle Isle next week. Gordon Marshall's claiming it's your number 1 favourite track. Are you feeling like that? Oh, a dangerous Ben Pedersen on the road next week. Ooh.
I think I still have the Porsche world record there on G61. So we shall see.
Oh, well, you're going to be a driver to watch next week. You don't have a hand in the championship battle at the moment for this season, but hopefully next season a better result could come your way, because I think, the last 2 seasons, you were a bit closer last season, of course, but, maybe next season could be the one for you.
Oh, look, I'll give it a crack. It's just if I can turn up to all the races and not make the umpteenth amount of mistakes that I love to do. But I have fun either way. This is something else, this simulator. It's really, really good. And if there's anyone listening who doesn't have one, get one.
It's probably the best selling point you could ever have for it. Well, luckily, next season we have got 2 drop rounds on offer. It'll be 2 drop rounds on offer going forward. So if you miss 2 next season, you've still got a hand in the championship. So we look forward to seeing how that pans out for you. But Ben, let us know. Help us get you out on track. Anyone you wish to give a shout out to as well, for myself, Bretton, and the rest of the crew, congratulations on your round win and your double race win here this evening at Long Beach.
Yeah, just thank their sponsors. Matrix Northwest have put a lot into it as well, and then obviously there's going to be the Riot Boys next race, so I'm looking forward to racing with them. So cheers, boys, and thanks for putting this together.
No worries, Ben. Thank you so much once again. Best of luck next week at Belle Isle. We look forward to seeing how you go.
Cheers, boys. See ya.
See ya. Well, Brenton, a couple of different opinions on what happened tonight. But, you know, that's racing. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a thought process. You know, we'll go away. We'll, you know, as admins, we'll have a look at it. I don't know if we'll put a major penalty in place for the tactic, but I think we'll definitely put a rule in place that would, you know, really not make you want to do it in future, because
This needs to be restrained,
yes,
shall we say?
yes,
And not so obvious.
yeah,
Um,
you know, different story
no,
if you did have a technical issue and then you ended up back there. That's a different story, of course. It was a tactic that he played, and again, we got to give the plaudits to the tactic. We gave the plaudits last season at Saxon Ring when a driver didn't pit stop and they got pushed to the line by their teammate to win the race. You know, and after that, we then changed it so that a driver has to make it to the end under their own power. So, you know, we'll make adjustments. We'll review and we'll see how things pan out. But that won't get implemented until next season because we are currently rewriting the rules. And you know, we're not going to make a supplementary regulation like that with only one round to go. We'll save that for next season. You know, just to keep it fair. But that will bring it into our show here tonight, Brenton. Next week we head out to Belle Isle for our finale race once again. It's the track that we always finish out here in the VRS Porsche Cup Series, and without Adelaide currently being announced for next season, I believe the tracks we're getting is Miami and Mexico City. It's going to be our finale once again for Season 3 as well. It will remain our finale until we get Adelaide, and it will be replaced with Adelaide Street Circuit once that does happen. But it produced some great racing last season. I'm sure it's going to promote more great racing this season as well with our brand new format of a finale race. 2 30-minute feature races coming your way next week at Belle Isle. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yep, looking forward to it. One race to go. Quite a championship, a lot of impact on the championship tonight after tonight's race, but it's sport. Anything could happen and probably will.
It's Belle Isle. Anything can happen as well. Who knows what can happen at turn 3, the carnage that could ensue. But I'm in Hamish Munro Brenton O'Brien alongside. Appreciate everybody's time being here with us once again. A massive shout out to all the series sponsors, including title sponsors VRS Virtual Racing School, us here at Infinity Broadcasting, SPP Graphics and Black Art Designs as well. If you want to get in contact with me in regards to anything for Infinity Broadcasting or Black Art Design, send me a message over on Discord. We'll get you sorted with delivery or with a race stream as well. If you want to get your dirt bike looking as sexy as possible before you cover it in mud or hit it with a tree, then send SPP Graphics a message over on Facebook. Johnny will get you sorted with that. And then for VRS, direct link in the video description as well. Check those guys out for any training or coaching videos, any setups, anything like that. VRS has got you covered on that side of things. If you're watching over on Twitch tonight, be sure to hit the follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here on the channel. Next up on the docket for you this coming Friday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, the IRWC Rod Knock Cup comes your way from Phoenix Raceway for round 8 of that season. I so look forward to calling the action once again. Hopefully my laryngitis is cleared up by then and I've got my voice back. And then after that, Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, myself and Scotty Gamble in the booth for the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 action of Season 24, Round 8 out at Tailem Bend for 300Ks. It's going to be a massive night of racing once again this coming Saturday night as well. For myself, Hamish Munro Brenton O'Brien alongside, appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again. We'll see you guys next time here in the IRWC, but until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
no control. Feel the thunder in my soul. Through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane. Taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best. It's taking over, cannot contain the desire to get to victory lane. Of the past, the roaring ghosts that never last. But here I stand, the finish line. One last race, one last time. Through it all, get past the pain. Cutting laps, making gains. Feeling tired, get to my aim. The desire to get to victory lane. Speeding faster, no control. Feel the thunder in my soul. Through the danger, through the pain, only one thing to do to get to victory lane. Taking risks, full send, and in the end, be the best. It's taking over, cannot contain the desire to get to victory lane.